बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बरहापीडं नटवरवपु कर्णयो कर्णिकारं बिभ्रद्वासः कनककपिशं वैजयन्तीं च माला रन्ध्रान् वेणु रधरसुधया पूरयन् गोपवृन्दै वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्राविशद्गीतकीर्ति। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्गुं हदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय, श्री राधा रानी की जय। आदरणीय पूजनीय पंडित जी, पंडित महेश जी, पंडित सत्यानंद महाराज, पंडित रामदत्त महेश और पंडित प्रिय सज्जनों, प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, महानुभाव, मोस्ट वर्शिपेबल पंडित्स, पंडित रामदत्त महेश, पंडित सत्यानंद महाराज, other Pandits, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest appreciations to each and every one of you. A very special welcome to our listeners on Bhakti TV, who are listening to us live also. A very special thank you to our sponsors on Bhakti TV, the Little Store Limited of Rapsi Street, Kirap, phone number 663-4415, Sital Fabricating and Construction Limited of Felicity, phone number 671-5126, and Tile Warehouse of 61 Limehead Road, Chase Village, phone number 242-2337. It was a very special thank you to our wonderful sponsors. Through their kind courtesy, so many souls all over the world are able to benefit. We're able to bring Bhakti TV live. A very special thank you also to Pandit Satyanand Maharaj of the Satya Anand Ashram of Arangwez, the producer of Bhakti TV, and tonight he has as a control his dear son Aditya Maharaj. We are indeed very blessed to be in this journey. ये महायात्रा श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की महायात्रा है। आज हम शिव ज्योति मंदिर, शिव ज्योति ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मंदिर of Lomas number 1, हमारे बहुत सौभाग्य है इस मंदिर में आके हमारे यात्रा का यहाँ भी भाग लेते हैं। We are doing this most divine journey into the sacred pages of this most divine book called Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. Today we are very fortunate to be at the Shiv Jyoti Organization Mandir in Lomas number 1 under the auspices of Pandit Ramdatta Mahesh Ji. It's our great blessing that we are able to include this beautiful mandir in our divine journey. Bhagavat Mahapuran, as I've been saying, is the last scripture Veda Vyas Ji Maharaj wrote. This Bhagavat Mahapuran is a translation of Vedas. This is why Bhagavat Mahapuran is called Pancham Ved, the fifth Ved. There are 4 Vedas, Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Sam Ved, Atharva Ved. But just as Bhagavan is divine, Ved is also divine. Anadi, Apaurusheya, beginningless, from beginningless time. Apaurusheya means divine. In the Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran was not written or delivered by man, prophet or special messenger of God as would the scriptures of other religion. Veda Vyas, Ved, is eternal, Anadi, beginningless. The very breath of the eternal. Niyaswasitamasya Vedaha Jaki Sahaj Shwas Shruti Chari. The very breath of Bhagavan. So Veda Vyas, understanding that, he wrote translation of Vedas and we call that Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. As you heard the Katha few days ago, Veda Vyas wrote 17 Puranas. He put the Vedas in book form. The 6th Darshan Shastra, the great epic Mahabharata. But he found no peace. His soul didn't get any peace, any happiness, any joy. Naraji came and blessed him and said, Veda Vyas Ji, you are a Vesha avatar, descension of Shri Krishna. The reason for your unhappiness is that you're yet to write a book that describes only the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and His divine pastimes. And that which is dearest to Shri Krishna, bhakti, or the path of divine love. पहले आप ही भक्ति करो. First you yourself do bhakti, then get the blessing of Shri Krishna. So Veda Vyas himself did bhakti. He had the darshan of Maya, of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. He was blessed, and then he wrote Bhagavat Mahapuran. This same Bhagavat Mahapuran he then related to Shukadev Paramhans. his son. And Shukadev ji related this Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran to Raja Parikshit, King Parikshit. Today we are able to hear Bhagavat Mahapuran. As we delve into the Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, let us begin with the Sumiran. Sumiran means to remember, to meditate. Let's meditate on Shri Krishna, on Shiva, Bhagavan and Ganesh as we seek their blessings, their guidance and protection, that we will be able to read this Srimad Bhagavat, bring out the actual meaning, and those of us listening will be able to imbibe the true essence of Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddhi Sadan Vadan Vadan Sumiro Varambar Madan Kadan Ke Lal Ko Ganapati Kripa Nidhan ज्ञान खाली आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरदान वरनो भाषा भागवत जय शिव आनंद कंद भूतनाथ भव भय हरन भक्ति विषय निर्बंध भक्ति विषय निर्बंध गौरवरन मंगल कर हे ब्रजवंश हे ब्रज चंद मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरन काटहु भव भय फंद चरण शरण ली आन कर जय 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 जगदीश सेवक शेष महेश अज महिमा अमित अभेद वेद भेद जानत में देहु मोहि वरदान राधा वर यह वर सदा प्रेम भरी मुस्कान नित चित्त में खटकात रहे मोहि चाहिए कछ नाहि और वस्तु प्रभु जात की बसी रहे मन माही यह बाकी झाकी सदा लीला कुटिया गायन के पीछे पीरत ग्वाल बाल ये साथ मोर मुकुट शिर पर भरे कर मुरली उर्मा कर मुरली उर्मा शीश मुकुट कटी पीत पट या छवि सोनंदला बसहु हृदय मम निशि दिवस गुरुपद रज धर शीश कहु भागवत की कथा जो शुकदेव मुनीश कवि सो परीक्षित निप अति भय निगम कल्पतरो गलितं फलम् शुक मुखादमृतत् द्रवसंयुतम् पिबत भागवतम् रसमालयम् मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका। बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। As we delve into tonight's katha, नौवें स्कंद छठवें अध्याय के कथा है। As we delve into tonight's katha, the katha is from the 9th canto, 6th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. एक भजन गाएंगे साथ में। Page 3 in the little booklets you will have. This sings the glories of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Beautiful kirtan written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu. All the glories to Bhagavan Shri Krishna Nanda Nandan. All glories to that Supreme Lord, the beloved of the gopis. Jai Jivan Dhan Brajadham Bajabam Hare. All glories to the one who is the life of the gopis. Biharat Brindavan Dham Hare, who performs divine pastimes in Brindavan. Jai Lalita Dik Brajabam Hare, Sangaman Sukha Ar Shri Dam Hare. All glories to Lalita Vishakha, etc., Ashtamaha Sakhi, and to Man Sukha, Dhan Sukha, etc., the cowherd friends of Shri Krishna. Jai Koti Kam Abhiram Hare, Ras Barsavat Brajabam Hare. All glories to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who is more beautiful than the beauty of uncountable Kamdevs combined, and who showers his divine bliss in the land of Braj. Jai Shushma Siva Hare. We that worship the Supreme Lord, who is the essence of divine bliss, divine love, whom even Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva also worships. We sing the glory of Nanda, Yashoda, who was sold without a price on that Supreme Lord. Jai Nanda Nandan. Jai Nandanan Sukhdham Hare, Gopi Jan Vallabh Sham Hare.
Jai Nandanan Sukhdham Hare, Gopi Jan Vallabh Sham Hare.
Oh Jai Nandanan Sukhdham Hare, Gopi Jan Vallabh Sham Hare.
Jai Nandanan Sukhdham Hare, Gopi Jan Vallabh Sham Hare.
Jai Jivan Dhan Braj Pam Hare, Viharat Vrindavan Dham Hare.
Jai Jivan Dhan Braj Pam Hare, Viharat Vrindavan Dham Hare.
Jai Lalitadik Braj Pam Hare, Sang Man Sukh Ar Shri Dam Hare.
Jai Lalitadik Braj Pam Hare, Sang मन सुख अरु श्री राम हरे।
ओ जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
कं दास्यति कुमारेयं स्थानं रोरूयते भृशुं, मां धाता वत्समारोदि ऋतीन्द्रो देशिनीयतात्। नमामार्पित्वा तस्य विप्रे देवा प्रसादतः। युवनाश्रयो तथैव तपसा सिद्धिमन्ददा। जय नंद नंदन सुखधाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय कोटि काम अभिराम हरे, जय कोटि
काम अभिराम हरे।
रस बरसावत ब्रज बाम हरे,
रस बरसावत ब्रज बाम हरे।
जय सुषमा शिवललाम हरे,
जय सुषमा शिवललाम हरे।
विधि हरिहर वंदित पाम हरे,
विधि हरिहर वंदित पाम हरे।
ओ जय नंद नंदन सुखधाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
यौनाशोथ मान्धाता चक्रवत्साविनी प्रभु, स्वप्नदीपवती में कह शश्वाच्छाच्युतेजसा। ईजे च यज्ञं क्रतो धीरात्मवेद भूरि दक्षिणैः, सर्वदेवमयं देवं सर्वात्मकं मतेन्द्रियम्। जय नंद नंदन सुखधाम हरे, जय नंद नंदन सुखधाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय गो जय नंद यशोमति पाम हरे,
जय नंद यशोमति पाम हरे।
ओ जय नंद यशोमति पाम हरे, जय
नंद यशोमति पाम हरे।
चेरे कृपालु बिनु दाम हरे,
चेरे कृपालु बिनु दाम हरे।
ओ जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
जय नंद नंदन सुख धाम हरे, गोपी जन वल्लभ श्याम हरे।
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। ये कथा बता रहे सूत जी महाराज शौनकादि से कहते हैं कि हे शौनकादिक परमहंस मुनि, एक बार पूरे विश्व के एक राजा थे, मानधाता, पूरे विश्व का एक राजा। ये पूरे विश्व को सप्तदीपा के साथ राज्य किया और भगवान की कृपा से ही ये मिल गया। ये पूरे विश्व के एक राजा थे, फिर भी भगवान की भक्ति करते थे, भक्ति पूर्ण भक्ति करते थे। This katha has been related by Sutaji Maharaj to Shaunakadik, the saints and sages in Naimisaranya. He says at one time there was a king, a great king, by the name of Mandhata. Mandhata, at those time we had people like Mandhata, Ambarish, Prahlad, Dhruv. One king ruled the whole world. One king. The whole world. For thousands and thousands of years. Jar Bharat ruled for 10 million years. Prahlad ruled the whole world for one Manvantar, 306,720,000 years, etc. So in the same way, Mandhata, being a devotee of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and by the grace of Shri Krishna, he ruled the entire world with the 7 dvipas, the 7 divisions. He was know of the self, self-realized, Paramhans. But even then, he did bhakti. क्योंकि जो आत्मज्ञानी है, वो माया को पार नहीं किया। अभी तक एक माया है, विद्या माया. So even though he was self-realized, he had not attained complete realization of Bhagavan. He had crossed one maya, avidya maya. But vidya maya is still there. Bhagavan Shri Ram says to Lakshman in the Ramayana,
तेहि कर भेद सुनाहु तुम दो, विद्या अपर अविद्या दो। जय राम श्री राम,
जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम।
Prabhu Shri Ram, the Supreme Lord, is saying to his younger brother Lakshman. Lakshman had questioned the Lord about ये माया क्या है, what is Maya? तो भगवान says, तेहि कर भेद सुनहु तुम दो, vidya अपर avidya दो. There are two kinds of Maya, Lakshman. Two kinds. One is vidya Maya, one is avidya Maya. Avidya Maya, Rajogun, Tamogun combined, that is avidya Maya. Swarupa Varika Maya, which has made us forgotten who we are. एक दुष्ट अतिशय दुख रूपा, जा बस जीव परो भव कूपा. That avidya Maya, also known as Swarupa Varika Maya, that has made us forgotten who we are from beginningless time. that we are the soul, the Atma. So from beginningless time, because of avidya maya, we have been identifying with the physical body. This is the cause of all our sufferings and our having to rotate in 8.4 million forms of life. From beginningless time. So in ancient times, the jnanis, the yogis, were able to cross avidya maya by themselves. They realize I am the soul, Atma, Atma Gyan, self-realization, Paramhans. But Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. Chapter 18, verse 54, Gita. That self, Brahma Bhut means self-realized, Paramhans. That self-realized soul is subject to downfall again and again until he does something. Until he does what? Mad Bhaktim. Until he does bhakti, devotion to Shri Krishna. The only way to cross Vidya Maya, Sattva Guni Maya, Gunavarika Maya, we have to do bhakti. Shri Krishna makes it very clear. Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metantarantite. Chapter 7, verse 14, Gita. Shri Krishna says, hey, you Gyanis, Maya is not an illusion. Ye mithya nahi hai. Daivi Hesha, it's a divine power, the Lord is saying. Or Mama Maya, Meri Maya, it's a power that belongs to Shri Krishna, it is His power. So no Rishi, Muni, Jnani, Yogi can cross Vidya Maya, Gunavarika Maya by themselves. How to cross Maya? Mame Vaye Prapadyante. Ev means only. Only the one who completely surrenders to Shri Krishna. In other words, bhakti can become free from Maya, especially Vidya Maya. This is why Shri Krishna says, again in chapter 18, he says, Bhaktya mam bijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tato gyata vishate tadanantaram. Chapter 18, verse 55, Gita. Without bhakti, without following the path of loving the Lord, no one can attain Brahma Gyan, knowledge of God. Very difficult, but we can attain Atma Gyan, that we can realize I am the soul, the Atma. But not Brahma Gyan, we cannot attain knowledge of God. For that, you have to do bhakti. So here, Mandhata, he had attained self-realization. He was Paramhans. But he continued to worship Bhagavan Shri Krishna. That one who represents, ये सिर्फ परम, सुप्रीम परम तत्व नहीं है, सभी जितने भगवान है उनके अंदर में रहते हैं. Sutaji Maharaj is saying to Shaunakadak that not only is he the supreme Lord of the universe, but all forms of God reside in him. He embodies all, and he's beyond all the senses, mind and intellect. सबसे परे है. और तो ये मंधाता, इनके 3 पुत्र थे, बहुत प्रसिद्ध 3 पुत्र और 50 लड़कियां. मंधाता, through the queen Bindumati, had 3 very famous sons. Very famous. Puruksut, Ambarish, Amuchukund. Of the 3 of them, Ambarish is the most famous one. We did the katha a few days ago of King Ambarish. He was such a great devotee of Bhagavan Shri Krishna that Bhagavan Shri Krishna sent his Sudarshan Chakra, his weapon, to destroy Durvasa Muni. That great sage Durvasa Muni because he tried to harm Ambarish. The same Ambarish, he also, after Mandhata, he also ruled, the whole rule of the entire world was handed over to him by his father. He also ruled the whole world by himself. Plus, he was a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. He also had, Mandhata also had 50 daughters, princesses, 50. और सभी 50वीं ने सौभरी मुनि से शादी की. And all the 50 daughters, princesses of King Mandhata, they got married to a rishi by the name of Saubhari Muni. Saubhari. ये कैसे हुआ? ये शौनकादिक ने सूत जी से पूछा कि ये कैसे हुआ? To Shaunak and all the other rishis and munis, they said to Sut ji, how did Saubhari Muni get married to 50 princesses, 50 daughters of King Mandhata? How did this happen? अब सुनिए, ये कथा सुनिए. एक मुनि थे, सौभरी मुनि. हजारों वर्ष यमुना के जल के नीचे तपस्या करते थे. जल के अंदर में. There was a great Muni by the name of Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni, under the water of the Yamuna, that river we call the Yamuna in Vrindavan in India, he remained under the water in the Yamuna for thousands of years doing tapasya. Not 1 minute, 30 minutes, millions of years he remained under the water doing tapasya. एक बार सौभरी मुनि ने एक बहुत बड़े मछली, 2 मछली को संभोग देखने लगे. 2 बड़े बड़े मछली संभोग करते हुए देखा और वो बहुत प्रसन्न चित्त को देखा कि इसमें सुख मिल रहे थे. इसको देखकर, देखो ये सौभरी मुनि पानी के नीचे अंदर अपने सब इंद्रियों उनके वश में थे, लेकिन मन उनके वश में नहीं थे. मन में काम आ गया, काम की वासना, और सोचने लगे हां उसमें सुख होंगे. So while performing great tapasya austerities, remaining under the water of the Yamuna, once Saubhari Muni saw 2 huge fish, huge, the king among fish, mating. And they seemed to be very happy after mating. Prasanna Chit. Seeing that, Saubhari Muni, look at this, he is a sage, he is under the water and doing tapasya for millions of years. He had all the senses under his control. Didn't even have to breathe. Are the human beings that cannot breathe underwater? We're not fish. Yet he didn't have to. His tapasya was so great. But he did not have his mind under his control. Great personalities. Ajamil, the Katha of Ajamil is also in Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, 6th canto. He also had, he's called Jitendriya, he had his senses under his control. But he also didn't have his mind under his control. That he became an example of papi sinners. One moment of kusang. We'll hear sometime. Anyhow, so Saubhari Muni, so dangerous his mind is. सुनो, भगवान श्री कृष्ण बार बार अर्जुन से कहते हैं, मन को अपने वश में करो, वश में करो. In the Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna again and again, control the mind, control the mind. The most important thing is the mind. Not the sense organs, the mind. Bhagavan notes the mind, where our mind is, our thoughts and ideas. ये हमको वहाँ ज्ञान ज्ञान नहीं देते. We don't pay attention where the mind is. The Vedas say, Man eva manushyanam karnam bandha mokshayoho Brahma Bindu Upanishad, second mantra. Listen carefully. The Vedas, I told you, are the highest authority because the Vedas is Bhagavan himself. They are the words of Bhagavan himself. The Veda, and the most important section of Vedas are the Upanishads. This Veda mantra is saying, Man, the mind, Ev, alone. Man Ev Manushyanam, human beings. Karnam is the cause, Bandhan of bondage, Moksha, liberation. The mind alone is the cause of bondage as well as liberation. All the responsibilities lies with the mind alone. This is why in the Gita, Shri Krishna is paying so much attention to the mind. Mujhme lagao man, mujhme lagao. Attach your mind to me, Arjun. I don't want care about your sense organ, your mind. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmar yudhya cha. Chapter 8, verse 7. The whole gist of the Gita in this one line of the verse. Chapter 8, verse 7. One line. Arjun, tasmat sarveshu, at all place. Kaleshu, at all time. Ma manusmara, remember me. What will you remember with? With our ears, our nose, our feet, our hand? No. With the mind, the heart, the mind. Remember me, attach your heart to me. And yudhya cha, your kshatri, do your duty, fight the war. That is called karma yoga. Performing your duty with the heart, the mind attached to God. In other words, karma plus bhakti is called karma yoga. This is why God says, how can we see God, attain God? One condition. Bhagavan Shri Ram says to Sugriv in the Ramayana.
Niramal man jan so mohi पावा मोहि कपट छल छिद्र भावा जय राम श्री राम जय जय
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya
Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidr na bhava. Vibhishan was kicked out of Lanka by Ravan. All because he was given good advice to Ravan. Ravan kicked him out of Lanka. Vibhishan came to the shelter of Prabhu Shri Ram. Everyone seen Vibhishan. Hey, he's a spy. The enemy, Shatru hai. Throw him in jail, tie him up. Bhagwan हंसने लगे. Bhagavan started to laugh. Sugriv, idhar aao, come here. The Lord says, Sugriv, listen. Nirmal man jan so mohi pava. Only those who are pure in heart, pure mind, can know me, see me, attain me. I cannot tolerate deception, deceit, fraud. Mohi kapat chal chidna bhava. In other words, if Vibhishan was in pure heart, a pure bhakt, he couldn't come to me. So, Bhagwan, he's telling Arjun, control the mind, fix the mind. Arjun says, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramati balabhadraham tasyam nigaham manye vayuriva sudushkaram. Chapter 6 verse 34 Gita. How to control the mind. It is so strong, turbulent and unyielding. It's more difficult to control than it is to control the wind. And Shri Krishna agreed. Asanshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam. Chapter 6 verse 35. I agree with you, Arjun, 100%. The mind is very difficult to control. Difficult, but not impossible. How to do it? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena cha grihyate. Through constant practice. This abhyas actually means true bhakti. Look at Saubhari Muni. So much tapasya he is doing. So much control he has over the senses. He doesn't have to breathe even. Yet he could not control the mind because he didn't do bhakti. Bhakti. Then we will control the mind. Then we can have control. The main thing is the mind. So, Saubhari Muni decided, I want to get married. Seeing those two fish so happy, he's thinking they're looking so happy for mating, I should also get married. तो गए मानधाता के पास और एक बेटी मांगा. मानधाता ने देखा ये बूढ़ा है, ये तो मैं अपना एक बेटी उनको दूंगा तो ये तो अन्याय है, ये बहुत बड़े पाप है. So Saubhari Muni, he knew that Mandhata had 50 daughters, beautiful princesses. So he went to King Mandhata and he asked, please give me one of your daughter in marriage. Mandhata looked at this old, remember millions of years he was under the water. He's all wrinkled, so old and feeble, head shaken, like Alzheimer's. Mandhata, my daughters are still young, to give to this old man, this will be a great sin. What kind of father will do that? But if I don't, अगर मैं नहीं दूंगा, तो इनके इतना तपस्या का बल है तो सारे को, एक को नहीं, हमको भी भस्म करेंगे. But if I refuse to give him one, forget about one, all 50 plus me plus my kingdom, his power is so much from his tapasya, he'll burn everything to ashes. अब क्या करूं? What to do? तो Mandhata thought, he said, अच्छा, अगर एक स्वयंवर करेंगे, एक स्वयंवर, अगर आपको एक हमारी एक बेटी छून लेंगे तो ले लीजिए. He said, अच्छा, okay, Mahamuni, Saubhari Muni, let's have a swayambar. Swayambar is where the girl herself, she chooses the bar, the bridegroom. She makes a choice like Sita did, Mother Sita did. And if one of my daughter chooses you, fine, take her. Mandhata को जान लिया, सौबरी को जान लिया, अच्छा ये सोचे चालू है कि सब जितने कुमारी है हमको देके ये बूढ़ा है, कोई छूनेंगे नहीं. अच्छा राजा, आप ऐसे ही सोच रहे. So Saubhari Muni realized what was going on. He said, अच्छा, king, you think you're being very smart. बहुत चालू है. that all these girls are going to see such an old man, feeble, bent, head shaken, skin all wrinkled. No one will choose me. That's why you're saying, let her have a Swayamvar. So Saubhari Muni ne kya kiya? What did Saubhari Muni do? We'll sing a bhajan and we'll hear the other part of the katha. In the booklets you have, turn to page 13. This beautiful bhajan written by Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu is saying, Mere Nandan Nandan, Mere Nandan Nandan, Apana Banale Mohi, Mere Nandan Nandan. Oh my dear Shri Krishna, my dear Shri Krishna, please make me yours forever, your own. Darasa dikhade tukka mere Nandan Nandan. Please let me get a little glimpse of you. A little glimpse, your true form, your divine form. Nija seva de mohi. Please give me your seva. I want to do your seva. I want to serve you. To do your seva. Bless me. Jana seva de mere. If you don't want to give me your direct seva, give me the service of those who serve you, your saints and sages. Let me serve your saints and sages. Tu hi mera aur main bhi tera. Hey Nandan Nandan, hey Shri Krishna, you alone are mine and I am also yours. I also belong to you. And you alone are my everything. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Main na bhulo kabhu tohi. Please bless me, Shri Krishna, that I will not forget you even for one moment. Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Apna bana le mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Apna bana le mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda
Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan,
Daras dikha de tuk. Mere Nanda Nandan, daras
dikha de tuk. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere
Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan,
Nij seva de mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan, Nij seva de
mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Oh Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Apna bana le mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Apna bana le mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Yadgahasthyam tu sanviksha Saptadvipavati pati Vismita sambhavat jahat Sarva saubhagyamitam Evam griheshva bhirato Vishayan vividhaihi sukhaihi Sevamano na chatusya Jashti kauri vanalanalah Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan Apna bana le mohi Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere
Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Apna bana le mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere
Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan,
Jan seva de mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Jan seva de mohi. Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan,
Mere Nanda Nandan, Mere Nanda Nandan,
मैं भी तेरा मेरे नंद नंदन।
तू ही मेरा मैं भी तेरा मेरे नंद नंदन।
मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन।
मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन।
मैं ना भूलूं कभू तो ही मेरे नंद नंदन। मैं ना भूलूं कभू
तू ही मेरे नंद नंदन।
ओ मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन। अपना बना ले मोही मेरे नंद नंदन। मेरे नंद नंदन
मेरे नंद नंदन। अपना बना ले मोही मेरे नंद नंदन।
मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन।
मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन।
तुझे सा कृपालु नहीं मेरे नंद नंदन। तुझे सा कृपालु
नहीं मेरे नंद नंदन।
ओ मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन। अपना बना ले मोही मेरे नंद नंदन।
मेरे नंद नंदन मेरे नंद नंदन। अपना बना ले मोही मेरे नंद नंदन।
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। तो सौबरी मुनि वो इतना तपस्या का बल थे, अपने को अति सुंदर बनाया। देवता भी इनके सामने नहीं खड़े हो सकते, इतने सुंदर बनाया अपने को। So Saubari Muni, what did he do? Remember, he had so much tapasya, power. Millions of years he was under the water of the Yamuna. He had acquired so much power. He made himself very young and very handsome. Even Devatas, Kamdev could not stand in front of him. So beautiful he made himself. अब जब 50 लड़कियां आए, वरमाला लेके आए, 50 लड़कियां वरमाला लेके आए और उनको देखा, इतना सुंदर युवक को देखा तो 50वीं ने इनके गले में माला, वरमाला डाल दिया, वरमाला। Saubari Muni, having performed tapasya austerities for so long under the water of the Yamuna, he had acquired great powers. Great powers. That through those powers he made himself so handsome, young and handsome. Even Kamdev, the god of love, the most beautiful person in the material world is Kamdev. His beauty could not stand in front of Saubari Muni at that time. So beautiful that when the 50 girls came, that one was going to put this mala around him and do the swayamvar, varamala, all 50 put the mala around him. और झगड़ने लगे. They started arguing. I am the only one fit to be married to him. No, I am the only one. They started to quarrel among themselves. अब मंदाता ने सोचा अब क्या होगा. They started fighting and quarreling among themselves that I am the only one fit to be married to him. Mandhata said, this is a big new problem. First, I had the problem that who was going to get married to this old man? Now he's become so handsome and so young and so beautiful. Now all 50 want to get married to him. And now this is going to cause big problem. If 50 get married to him, they will fight and quarrel. तो साबरी मुनि ने कहा, वो मानधाता का विचार पढ़ लिया, उतने शक्ति उसके अंदर घुस के देखा क्या सोच रहे. उन्होंने कहा है मानधाता आप चिंता मत करो. अपने को 50 बना दिया. उन्होंने 50 बना दिया. जैसे भगवान कृष्ण 16,108 रानियों से शादी की और एक एक रानी एक एक श्री कृष्ण बनाया और महारास में हजारों हजारों गोपियां श्री कृष्ण एक एक गोपी को एक एक श्री कृष्ण दिया बना दिया. Saubhari Muni read the thought. He has so much power. He went inside and saw what Mandhata was thinking. He said, hey king, Mandhata, don't worry yourself. He made himself into 50 handsome young prince. All just as beautiful as he was. Just as Bhagavan Krishna, when he got married to 16,108 queens, he built 16,108 palaces. And with every queen there was a Shri Krishna in Dwarika. Also during the Maharas, there were thousands and thousands of gopis. Shri Krishna made himself into thousands and thousands. Every gopi had a Shri Krishna. Special power. Impossible for us. Don't think, because we can't do it, Shri Krishna cannot do it. That's why he is Bhagavan and we are Jivatma. He is Paramatma. Kartum akartum manyatha kartum samartha. Bhagavan Shri Krishna has a special power called Yog Maya. Not Maya, Yog plus Maya. That which makes the impossible possible. Yog Maya is also called Durga, Radha, etc. What is impossible for us is like child play for Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna is sitting in the heart of every living being. There are uncountable souls in the uncountable solar systems, in the uncountable galaxies in the universe. Uncountable. And in every soul, in every living being, one Shri Krishna is sitting. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantarudhani mayaya. Chapter 18 verse 61 Gita. Shri Krishna says to Arjun, the Supreme Lord resides in the heart of every living being. He's taken note of each and every individual soul and rewards and punishes us accordingly. One Supreme Lord. Ved is saying, Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutantaratma Karmadhyaksha Sarva Lokadivasa Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. Shweta Shvataropanishad, chapter 6, verse 11. The Vedas are saying, a lot of people think in Hinduism we have million God. No! Eko Devaha, one Bhagavan, one God. One God. But Anantanama Rupaya, he has uncountable names, uncountable forms. Do not see big and small when it comes to Bhagavan. Many of us, we worship one form of Bhagavan and we say, I don't want to hear about the other form. If I'm a devotee of Shri Krishna, I don't want to hear about Shivji. If I'm a devotee of Shiv Bhagavan, I don't want to hear about Shri Krishna. That's the Nama Prad, unpardonable sin. The same Shri Krishna is the same Shiv. Do not see differences. One Bhagavan. Different clothes, different form, that's all. You love that form, that's good. To worship one form is very important. To be able to focus the mind. But do not see difference in any other form. Do not give disrespect. It's the same Lord that you're worshiping in a different form. Give respect everywhere. People don't understand and they create sin on the sin, the kind of sin, nama prad, unpardonable sin. It's only one God. He is a sakshi, the witness. Karmadhyaksha, he's the one who gives the fruit. He's the governor, the controller. Bhagavan doesn't sleep. So one Lord. So in that same way, Mandhata, he had not Bhagavan's power, but he also had, through his yoga, his tapasya, he was able to create 50 of himself, young and handsome. And then he got married to all the 50 princesses. Ab 50 mahal bhi banaya. He also built, through his yoga power, he had so much tapasya. He built 50 palaces. Every palace he was with a different queen, a different princess. Hazaro दास दासियों और ऐसे ऐसे महल, ऐसे ऐसे ऐश्वर्य, thousands and thousands of male servants and female maid servants, thousands and thousands he had. There were birds, there were beautiful gardens and parks. The beds were studded with jewels, diamonds and all kinds of jewels, the most beautiful of sheets, the most costly of seats, jewels, precious jewels. इतने ऐश्वर्य को देखकर सौभरी मुनि का, तो मानधाता, वो जो विश्व का एक राजा, ये देखकर आश्चर्यचकित हो गए. और जो अभिमान थे कि मैं एक राजा है पूरे विश्व, वो निकल गया, वो छोड़ दिया. Seeing the opulence and the grandeur of Saubhari Muni, of the power, he utilized the power he had. So much tapasya he had acquired, so much powers from his tapasya, but he did not realize that the more you use it, the more you lose it. He was using it, utilizing. When we acquire powers through yoga, tapasya, and we utilize this in the performance of siddhis, etc., we lose it. When you use it, you lose it. It's so dangerous. Anyhow, seeing that grandeur and opulence of Saubhari Muni, Mandhata, who was the king of the whole world, he started feeling ashamed, amazed of it, and he thought, what is this thing? What is my rule compared to Saubhari Muni? The pride that he had, that I am the one king of the whole world, he gave that up also. He says, I am nothing compared to this Saubhari Muni. Look at his grandeur. Look at this. लेकिन Saubhari Muni 50 लड़की के साथ भोग करते और हर लड़की के साथ 100 पुत्र, 5000 पुत्र, लेकिन संतुष्ट नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि इसमें सुख है ही नहीं. Even though Saubhari Muni was enjoying with all the 50 princesses of King Mandhata, these princesses were so beautiful. Heavenly damsels could not compare to their beauty. And with every princess, he had 100 sons. 100 sons with every princess. 5,000 sons. Hey, Bhagavan. And yet, he felt no happiness. Ab socho, we people who are looking for happiness, that if I win the lotto, I'll get happy. If I get a nice house, I'll get happy. If I get a nice moruka, I'll get happy. Look at the condition of Saubhari Muni. Think about it. Hare, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, these guys cannot even compare to what Saubhari Muni had. $50 palaces. That even Mandhata, who is the king of the whole world, is feeling ashamed. The kind of grandeur and splendor that he had. All through his tapasya, he utilized. He didn't have to call any architect. He just waved his hand and everything appeared. "5,000 sons. And yet, जैसे थोड़ा सा घी, जैसे हवन कुंड में वहां लकड़ी रखते हैं, यहां सूत जी महाराज कहते हैं, और थोड़ी सी घी डालते हैं, वो संतुष्ट नहीं होते, वो और मांगते हैं. He gives an example here, Sut Ji Maharaj. He says that you pour in the Havan Kund, you have wood in there, and you pour in a few drops of pure ghee. It's not satisfied, it wants more to blaze. The fire is never satisfied. In the same way, Shaubari Muni did not become satisfied. So much he had. Ab socho. Because devotees, we have to realize this is a wonderful lesson. There is no happiness, true happiness, to be found in any person or object in the world. Bhagavan Shri Ram tells us in the Ramayana, he's saying to the residents of Ayodhya, listen to what he says. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo Ram.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
जाओ परलोक यहाँ सुख चाहूं, सुनी मम वचन हृदय दृढ़ गाहु. बोलो राम.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
सरल सुखद यह मार्ग भाई, मोरी भक्ति पुराण श्रुति गाय. बोलो
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
बोलो राम.
Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
We, from beginningless time, we the individual soul, Jivatma, we are beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, Suparna vetau sadishau sakhayau yadichayaytau kritanidau cha vrikshe ekastayu khadati pippalan manyo niranno pibalena bhuyan. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran, 11th canto, 11th chapter, 6th verse. In other words, gist of it is that both God, the Supreme Lord, and the Jivatma, the individual soul, we people, are unborn, eternal, beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. And from beginningless time, we have been searching for happiness. Everything we do is for one thing only, happiness. But we have been looking in the wrong place. Because of ignorance. What is the ignorance? We have forgotten whom we are. We have forgotten that I am the soul, the Atma. From beginningless time, we have identified with the physical, material body. And because of that, we have been looking in the wrong place, in the material world. In heaven also. They also know happiness. Bhagavan Shri Ram says to residents of Ayodhya, Ehi tan kar phal vishaya na bhai, Swargahu swalpa ant dukhdai. Hey, Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, to us, This human body, which is so valuable, Devatas are begging and praying for it. Sura Durlabh wasn't given to you to enjoy sensual pleasures, nor to go to heaven. Why? Swargahu swalp. The word swalp means non-existent. That there is no true happiness in heaven. It is only the happiness of this material world multiplied a number of times. And the worst part, after you go to heaven, anta dukkadai, you're going to suffer. You have to come back right here in this material world and suffer. There's no happiness. So again, Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying, Jao paralok yaha sukha chahu. If you want true happiness, we all want it. Everlasting happiness. Here, yaha, or paralok, after we leave here. Not only after we leave, here also. To suni mama bachana hridaya dirghagahu. Listen to what I'm going to tell you very deep in your heart, not carelessly. Listen very, very firmly in your heart what I'm going to say. The Lord is saying, Sarala sukhada yahamarag bhai. This path to finding happiness here and hereafter is very easy, saral. Or sukhad is the giver of happiness. While performing, while going on that path, you get no pain, no suffering. What is the path? Mori bhakti puran shruti gai. The path which is called bhakti. The path of loving the Lord, which all the Vedas and all the scriptures, all the Puranas, they glorify the path of bhakti. Only through bhakti we can attain God. Another name for Bhagavan, for Shri Krishna is Anand, bliss, happiness. And how we can attain that? Only through bhakti. Look how much Saubhari Muni had, and yet he was discontented. धीरे धीरे वो सोचे मैं क्या कर रहा हूं. He's thinking, what am I doing? एक दिन यमुना के तट पे गए, बैठ गया. One day he went to the Yamuna, the same place that he was doing tapasya for thousands and thousands of years. Under the water, he sat on the bank of the Yamuna. और जोर से चिल्लाने लगे. He started shouting at the top of his voice. What did he shout? Aho imam pashyatame vinasham tapasvinah Satchadita pravadvattasya antarjale varichara prasangat prachachitam brahmachiram hritam yat. Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, 9th canto, 6th chapter, 50th verse. Shrimad Bhagavat. He says, "O people of the world," he's shouting like a madman. "O people of the world, listen to me. I, antarjale variva saprasangat." I was doing tapasya under the water of the Yamuna. Antarjale. And I saw two fish mating, and lust came in my mind. Calm, lust. And because of that, I went and got married to 50 princesses and lost everything. Hamare sare tapasya khok, I've lost all my tapasya. All that tapasya I had attained for thousands and thousands of years under the water of the Yamuna, I've lost all of it. By doing what? Enjoying the pleasures of the senses. Prahlad says to Nrsimha Bhagavan, Indriyani manahprana atma dharmo dhitirmati hri shri tejas smitisyasam yashanashyanti janmana. Shrimad Bhagavat Mahapuran, 7th canto, 10th chapter, 8th verse. Why is that desire so dangerous? Prahlad is saying to Nrsimha Bhagavan, little Prahlad, 5 years old, But he had the Guru. Naraji was his Guru. Inside the womb of his mother, he made Naraji his Guru and attained all the knowledge. Prahlad is saying, the birth of a single desire, one desire, causes harm to so many things. The energy of the senses, the energy of the mind, the energy of the soul, the energy of the life force. These are the four main pillars. Other things get harmed too, just by satisfying one desire to one sense organ. Righteousness, patience, reasoning, modesty, self-esteem, and even knowledge of the scriptures. All these things get destroyed just by satisfying desire related to one sense organ. Prahlad, you might say, I don't want to believe. I'm just telling you what Prahlad is saying. You believe or don't want to believe is fine. So here, Saubhari Muni is saying the same thing. I lost everything. Ab dekho, mere kya hal? उस समय वैराग्य आ गए मन में. At that time, through the grace and blessing of Bhagavan, detachment came in the mind of Saubhari Muni. He fed up. He got fed up. I had enough. Ab pet bhar gaya. Now my belly is filled. I don't want any more. We people, we have been rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. Every form of life you can think about. Dog, cat, donkey, worm, tree, grass, human being, heavenly God. Uncountable time. And yet we still want to go. We still think we haven't got enough. Bhagavan Shri Ram tells us in the Ramayana.
कर 4,84,000 योनि भ्रमत यह जीव अविनाशी. बोल राम 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 राजा
राम 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 बोलो राम 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 राजा राम राम राम.
आकर 4,84,000 योनि भ्रमत यह जीव अविनाशी. बोल
राम 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 राजा राम 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 बोलो राम 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 राजा राम राम राम.
Bhagavan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, आकर 4,84,000 योनि भ्रमट यह जीव अविनाशी. The Jivatma, this individual soul who we are, is avinashi, indestructible, eternal, beginningless. But it keeps rotating in 8.4 million forms of life according to its karma, its action. Until we realize that there is no happiness, until we reach a stage like Saubhari Muni, now he's realized it's all useless. There is no happiness in any person or object in the world. The happiness I'm searching for, I'll get only in Bhagavan. Saubhari Muni became detached. And now he did bhakti. अब भक्ति किया, वो वन में गया. अब पानी के अंदर नहीं गए. He didn't go under the water anymore. He went to the forest. अब 50 पत्नियां भी गए साथ में. His 50 wife also went with him. They all loved him. He became detached. But they followed him. They all went in the forest, and there he sat and started doing bhakti to Bhagavan. Bhakti kiya. And then he destroyed his body, he attained a divine body. Ab Bhagavan ke vileen ho gaya. He merged into Bhagavan. All the wives followed him also. Wherever we attach, there we'll go. They were all attached to him. When he went to Bhagavan, they all went to Bhagavan. Because wherever we attach, there we will go. Now he had become a saint. He became guru, in other words. Wherever he went, they went. अब यहाँ इतना ये मतलब है, हम लोग को सोचना चाहिए इसमें हम क्या सीखेंगे? What lesson we should get from this beautiful, wonderful katha of Saubhari Muni? अब बहुत लंबी कथा नहीं, not a big katha, it's small katha, but so much we can learn. First to begin, we can have control, doing yoga, etc., Gyan, yoga, we can, impossible in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, these things are not possible. Huh? We are told in Kali Yuga, this was a different age, this was Satyug. In Kali Yuga, these things are impossible. What Saubhari Muni did, no one can do in Kali Yuga. Impossible. Kagba Sundiji is saying to Garuji Maharaj,
कलियुग जोग न जग ज्ञाना एक आधार राम गुण गाना बोलो जय राम श्री राम जय
जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम.
Kali Yuga Yoga na Jagya Jnana. In the age of Kali Yuga, we cannot do yoga, we cannot do Jagya, we cannot do Gyan. Impossible. What to do? Ek Adhar Ram Gunagana. Chant the name of the Lord with love. Do bhakti. Bhakti. Bhakti karo bas. In Satyuga also, Saubhari Muni attained so much through tapasya. That kind of tapasya, living under the water of the Yamuna. For thousands and thousands of years, nobody forget about Kali Yuga, Dwapar cannot do. That kind of tapasya. But all he could attain was control of the senses. He couldn't even attain control of the mind, forget God realization. Even in Satyug, you had to do bhakti. He had to come back and do bhakti. Then he would attain Bhagavan. And we are told in Kali Yuga all to do bhakti. Bhagavan is saying, you want happiness here and the hereafter also, then do bhakti. Mori bhakti, devotion, love for the Lord. Mori means for him, for me, for him. Bhakti karo, bhakti karo. So, we may be able to do things, not in Kali Yuga. Yoga you cannot do. People do yoga. Now yoga is so famous all over the world. Everybody wants to do yoga. It's good, good. But yoga is not yoga. Yoga is, what we call yoga is exercise. It's good to keep the body fit. Do some kind of exercise. Walk, run, go to the gym. You don't want to do all that. Do some yoga exercise. Something. Keep the body fit. This body is very important. We're not the body. But if the body is not fit, then we can't even do sadhana, we cannot do seva, we cannot do bhakti. Tan binu bhajan veda nahi varna. If there is pain somewhere in the body, you have COVID, and you decide, I'm going to chant Maha Mantra, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Instead of saying Hare Ram, high pain, high pain. The mind will go where the pain is. So, Yog means something different. Yog means Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. That is Yog. First, Yam, Niyam, then Asan. What we call yoga today, the correct name is Yogasan. But before Yogasan, Yam, Niyam, long, very long. The gist of which, complete control over the mind. Arey bhaiya, who can do? Which yogi today? They call himself Yogishwar, God among yogis. You see them on TV. Can they control the mind? Little thing and they get angry. Little thing and they get angry. One wanted to kill himself. All kind of foolishness. And complete control over the mind. Cannot do. Doing the exercise is good. If you're doing yoga exercises, good, do it. Keep the body fit. But that's not going to control the mind. That's not going to give you bhakti. It's not going to give you God realization. Bhagavan is very clear. Only through bhakti. If you want to get happiness here and the hereafter. So, even controlling the mind, control everything spiritually that you want to do, only bhakti. In the Gita also Shri Krishna says, Naham vedena tapasa na dane na che jaya. Chapter 11, verse 53. After he had shown Arjun his divine form, his universal form, he says, Arjun, to attain me and see my form, to see me, not through the study of the Vedas, not through austerities, not through charity, rites and rituals can one attain that. How to attain it? How to see me? Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham evam vidhorjuna gyatum drashtunt tattvena praveshtun cha parantapaha. Chapter 11, verse 54, Gita. He says, aham evam, only, ev, the word ev is being used here, only through ananya bhakti, exclusive bhakti, whether one wants to attain the knowledge of Shri Krishna, gyatum, drashtum, one wants to see the divine form of the Lord, praveshtuncha, one wants to merge into him to attain mukti, whatever you want to attain spiritually, only through exclusive love, exclusive bhakti is the only path. Anyhow, if you want to do karma, it's fine. Do karma plus bhakti. It's called karma yoga. Karma dharma, rites and rituals, etc. Doing your duty. Add bhakti, it becomes karma yoga. This is a teaching of the Gita. You want to do gyan, add bhakti, it becomes gyan yoga. Everything add bhakti. You don't have to if you want to do pure bhakti also. But if you want to add, it's fine. All will give you the same result. There's much more. We'll hear some other time. Boli Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Shiv Bhagavan ki jai. Umapati Mahadev ki jai. Pavan Put Mahavir Swami ki jai. Shrimat Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.